Hey friends, it's Judy Klock here at Stampin' with Crafty Clock, coming to you tonight for another live demo. And tonight I am going to be giving you a preview of the new Night Divine stamp set and matching die. Not really matching dies. It does come with a die set though, and the die set will cut out like a manger scene. And if those of you who are wondering, this is a 4x6 garage door magnet. Excuse me. Sorry, I had something in my throat. And I buy them on Amazon. I think it's like 30 for, I don't know, like $30 or something. And they just fit in the cases perfectly. I just put them in with some tear tape, and then they hold the dies that go with the stamp set. And we're going to pair it with another one of the stamp sets that's in this bundle. It's a big product suite, Stars at Night. And you've got these beautiful stars images and some sentiments, and then this comes with a stamp set with all of these different star dies. So we're just going to use a little star die tonight for one of our cards, but that's what we're going to be working with. And I keep forgetting to do this. I always forget to do this. Let me go back and show you those star dies. So there are 14 dies in here. This one is three of them together, but when you cut them, they will cut separately. So there's a lot of versatility to this set, and I've used several of them already. Some of the smaller ones I have backed with adhesive sheets just to make it easier to adhere them to my projects when I'm working with them. And again, in case you were wondering, here's the Night Divine, and it has the stamp sets with all the sentiments on them, and then it's got the matching dies. Matching is, I use that loosely. It's got a companion die set that will do the whole manger scene. So you got the Holy Family, a shepherd, one of the kings, and the animals in the little stable. Okay, so let me show you what we're going to do tonight. Now, the first card, I'm going to change it up a little bit because I wanted to do something that a beginning stamper could do, which they can with the exception of the deckled circles die cut. This is a new die set that will be coming in the mini catalog. It will cut out the deckled circles. So tonight we're just going to cut it out with on a straight edge trimmer, and we're just going to trim like a rectangular piece to replace this. But again, something very simple that a beginning stamper could easily do. Everything is going to be straight cuts on a paper trimmer, so no fancy equipment needed to make this card. Our next card is going to be a fun fold, a really interesting fun fold. It's kind of a mini album. So we're going to do a little heat embossing, and then when you open the first one, you've got the shepherd, and he's fine. He sees the big star in the sky, and then our next page will be for our sentiment and to write something to your recipients who will be receiving this card. So let's go ahead and get started. So our first card is very simple. We're going to be using a piece of Night of Navy that was 4 1/4 by 11. I just scored it at 5 1/2. To that, we're going to add 2 pieces of Very Vanilla. One will be on the inside, one will be a layer on the outside, and these are both 4 by 5 1/4. Then I have a really pretty piece of this specialty DSP that is cut to 3 3/4 by 5. We're going to layer that on top of one of our pieces. Then I just got a scrap piece here. It's 4 by, I don't know, maybe 1/2 inch. It was just a scrap that I had left over. And we're going to put that on the inside to decorate it. And then we're going to stamp our sentiment right here on this one. So let's go ahead and get that. That's really the only stamping that we're doing. And I am going to use Night of Navy. So we're going to stamp. The stars are brightly shining on this piece of Very Vanilla. Okay, and see how he changed it up from a circle. So this is, I think, 2 inches by 2 3/4 inches. Yeah, 2 inches by 2 3/4 will definitely handle that sentiment. And then on the inside, I'm just going to stamp peace and joy. So I could have picked something from the Stars Shining Brightly, but I just figured I'd just use this one stamp set tonight. So everything will be from with the exception of that one die cut star, everything's coming from the Night Divine. All right, let's go ahead and start assembling our card. So we're going to add this to the inside. Again, like I said, it's 4 by 5 1/4. And let me know who's with me tonight. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you've gotten this stamp set yet, if you're a demonstrator, or if you have this on your wish list. This will be available for purchase on September 6th. But the Designer Series paper is really so pretty. And I'm going to show you when we're done a shadow box that I made with this set. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our piece of basic. We're not going to put that on yet because I want to wrap some ribbon around. So we're going to add our piece of Designer Series paper to the front. Okay. And you'll notice a little blop there. I had a little bit of the paper got ripped off because it got caught on the adhesive on the back of the envelope that it was in. So I just took my Stampin' blends and just kind of colored that in so it wasn't quite so glaring white. All right, so I'm going to want to add some ribbon to the bottom here. So I'm going to cut probably about 5 inches, 5.5 inches. We don't need much. We're going to add some adhesive to the back here. And we're just going to adhere one end of the ribbon around, wrap it around, and adhere it to the other side. Make sure it's straight. All right, and then we're ready to put our paper on the card front. All right, we're going to put another little piece, tie a knot in this ribbon, but we're going to do that after our front is adhered to our card front. Ooh, looks a little crooked. There we go. Okay, now we're going to adhere this, and I want to balance. I want to put my ribbon over here to maybe kind of take away from that little error. So I'm going to put this here. I'm going to put this on dimensionals. I stamped it on both sides. I wanted to make sure that I had that the piece was cut right. So I'm like, well, I'll just stamp on the other side for the demo. Okay, so now we're just going to put this on with some dimensionals. Okay, like I said, we're going to put that kind of here. I'm going to put a little bit off center. Okay, not everything has to be centered. Then I'm going to cut another piece about 4 inches, 4.5 inches. I'm going to try to trim this on the diagonal. Okay. And then we're just going to slip it under our ribbon, and we're going to go ahead and tie a knot, and that will just kind of dress up that front ribbon just a little bit. Okay. But it's much easier to do this once the front is already adhered to the card. Okay. And then if you want, you can just sort of make it a little bit small. If those tails are a little bit too long, you can just kind of trim them up. Okay, we'll just trim that up a bit. Okay, and there is, oh, let's add some of our embellishments. So these are the adhesive backed star trinkets. Again, they are part of that Oh Holy Night product suite. There are, I think, 8 products. There are 2 stamp sets and die bundles. There is the bolt of ribbon. There is the star trinkets, and there are the specialty Designer Series paper, and then a regular Oh Night Divine Designer Series paper. So I think that's like 8 products in the product suite. I have something stuck in my throat, and it's kind of making me a little crazy. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just put some of these on. There's big ones and there's smaller ones. Okay, I'm going to use 2 of the smaller ones, 1 of the bigger ones. I don't know where we're going to put this one. I don't know, maybe right down there. Why not? And that is our first card that is suitable for a beginning stamper or someone who just doesn't have a lot of supplies. And I forgot to add our little piece of scrap DSP. Okay, and we're just going to go ahead and put this right there on the bottom. And that's just a way to dress up the inside and, you know, kind of use some of those scraps that you have left over after you trim your paper down. So that is our first card for tonight. Let me know what you think of that one. Now the next one is a lot of fun. It's a fun fold. I love doing fun folds. I don't know why I like it when you can just take regular paper and just fold it in a different way to make it look interesting. All right, so what we have here is we're starting out with a piece of, this is boho blue, and this is 5.5 by 11. Okay, so it's a little bit more than a half of a sheet of cardstock. So I have scored this at, let me make sure I got these right, 1 3/4, 3.5, 5 1/4, and 7. So once it's closed, it's going to be 4 inches wide as opposed to the 4 1/4. So it's just a hair narrower than normal. So I want to take, see these two mountain folds? I want to take and I want to glue the panels 1 and 2 together. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to glue panels 1 and 2 together, and we're going to glue panels 3 and 4 together. Okay, so I'm going to just use a little bit of our liquid glue to just kind of glue these two panels together. So we're going to glue those two together, and then we're going to glue these two together. All right, fold that one this way. All right, so that's really it for the liquid glue. We're done with that. Just gonna, I am so sorry. I don't know what the heck is in my throat, and I left my water upstairs. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of really try to crease these folds. All right, so we've got that. Now, to this, we're going to add a piece of the Designer Series paper, and you could use either side. This is 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to use the darker blue side, and I want to put that larger star towards the top. So I am going to go ahead and just add this to my inside. That's my inside. All right, we're going to go back later on and put a piece of Very Vanilla in there so that we can write a note to our recipient. But in the meantime, we are going to layer up. So I have here 2 pieces of Misty Moonlight that are 4 by 3.5. Okay, so we have these 2 pieces. Then I've got 2 pieces of Copper Clay that are 3 3/4 by 3 1/4. And we're going to layer those up here. Okay, and then we've got a piece of Basic White that is 3 by 3.5. And we've got a piece of our Designer Series paper that again is 3 by 3.5. And those are going to be our two little pieces that are going to go on these two. They're going to go on these 2 sections. Okay, we're going to heat emboss on this. And then I've got 2 pieces of, again, that Designer Series paper. It comes in Night of Navy and Very Vanilla. And these are 1.5 by 5 1/4. And we're just going to put these here. So let's go ahead and add those pieces there. Okay. And just to kind of make that a little bit dressier. Okay, I like to do that. Okay, and making sure that it's quasi straight. It's a little bit crooked. That's okay. All right, we're going to put this one on the front. So I could have used the navy blue too on this, but I just wanted to use the white, the Very Vanilla rather. It's not white, it's Very Vanilla. I must learn to call things by the appropriate name. And I will have all these measurements in my corresponding blog post. It probably won't go up until Sunday. Just tomorrow I've got an eye doctor appointment and then I have to get ready. I'm doing a live event on Saturday, so I've got to prep tomorrow. Then I got my live event, so that will leave it Sunday when I can actually get back to writing the blog post and getting that up. And then we have our piece of for the inside, and this is 3x4. So it's just a smaller piece. And again, if we want, we can stamp that peace and joy on that. But let's go ahead and let's do our heat embossing on here. So I'm going and we'll layer up our layers and we'll put all that together. But let's get our heat embossing done. So I'm going to take this piece of basic white. Again, this was 3x3 1/4. Yep, 3x3 1/4. And I'm going to rub my embossing putty over it to hopefully take out whatever static is on there. And this way we can get a nice clean stamp and a clean heat emboss. All right, and I got my embossing putty here. Where's my gold? I've been using so much. I have white, black, and heat and stick powder. All right, just make sure, clean out my little tray. All right. I've got my Versamark. Now this is a pretty big stamp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Versamark and I'm going to apply it to my stamp. So sometimes when the stamp is really big, it's easier to just turn your stamp pad, your ink pad upside down and actually just stamp the stamp. So I'm just kind of tapping it there. All right. Flip it over. And these are our cling stamps. So I don't have to use my Stampin' Pierce mat. Okay, I want to make sure I get a good coverage. Okay, it looks pretty good. It's hard to see with Versamark because it's clear. But let's go ahead and we will add our gold embossing powder. Okay, there you can see it's starting to stick to some of the words. Okay. I always have a problem picking this up, so I kind of use my pick tool to help me. And then I'm just going to kind of make sure that I got everything covered. Tap it. Okay. I kind of like to do that, get off any kind of random pieces where we don't want the glitter to be or the embossing powder. All right. Do have a little bit up there, but I'm not going to be able to really clean that off. So we're just going to let it go. All right, gonna get a little loud. And you'll know that the embossing powder has set when it gets shiny. So when you start seeing it get shiny, then you know that it is set. That is very hot. No, it doesn't take long. It does set pretty quickly. Might be time for a new heat tool. This one does take a little bit of time, and it's really old. This thing is probably 20 years old if it's a day. And I think it might be time to invest in a new one. You know, sometimes it gave great service, but I think it's time to retire it. Put that on my wish list. Okay, that all looks good. Like I said, you know it's done once it all looks shiny, and it all looks shiny, so I think we're good. Let's go ahead and start layering up our layers. So we're going to take the copper clay and put that on top of our oh my goodness, our Misty Moonlight. I can't even think tonight. It was a hectic day. I had to take 2 of the dogs to the groomers today, and like in the middle of the day, and that just kind of throws off the whole rhythm. And then I had to go and PetSmart and get new collars because the little Australian Shepherd, he's deaf, and I have a collar on him. It's a martingale because this way it doesn't come off. Because this way, if he gets lost, you know, if he lost his collar, you couldn't call him because he wouldn't come back. So anyway, I had to go get a new collar, and of course, the PetSmart that was closest to me were out of stock, so I had to go to the one that was further away. So it's just been a day, folks. But you know, sometimes it's like that. It's all good. There are worse things I could have happen. So not complaining, just sharing. But he was the one who got groomed today, and he looked so handsome when he came home. All right, so then I'm going to add this. Now I want to add our shepherd. I did a die cut, but I'm going to show you. I die cut the die that I used. Let me show you. And it's like the Holy Family and Friends. So the whole, it's one piece. It cuts it as one piece. But the beauty of it is that you can actually cut them apart. So for this one, I just wanted to use the shepherd. So I just like snipped it right there. And we'll save this because we'll use this for another project. So we're going to put our shepherd there. Okay, and again, I lied. I am going to use liquid glue again, just a little bit. And of course, a shepherd needs a sheep. So I did die cut a sheep. We'll put him there. Okay, and then where is his little sheep? Okay, there's his little sheep. Again, I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue on there. Probably could have used an adhesive sheet on this guy too, but I wasn't thinking. Okay, there we go. All right, and then I have our star. So I'm going to go ahead, and I did put adhesive sheet on this. So this one should be nice and easy to put on. Let's take off our sheet. Okay. And then we're just going to put the star up here. And this is our gold metallic paper. Okay, so we've got that. Now I'm going to wrap, oops, we've got our little pieces to put together. I'm going to wrap a piece of our ribbon around here. And I'm going to save, you can see I have a whole bunch of pieces that I've cut off. So I'm going to save our other members of our Holy Family and kind of put them on later. All right, so now for this one, I just added some seal here, and I just kind of wrapped our ribbon, kind of like the reverse of what we did on the other card, because we're going to have that panel that's going to cover this. Okay. All right. So now I want to make sure that our panel is even with the edge of our card. So I'm going to put, I got to move this over just a little bit, otherwise you'll see it. Hang on. Okay. So I want to put our panel so it's even with the edge, and I'm going to put dimensionals kind of like right here. So I'm going to go ahead and add some dimensionals. Okay, let's put one right there, and right there. That one's a little. Okay, one there. Maybe put one there. That should be good. Okay, take off the coverings. And if you're wondering why I have pen marks on my dimensionals, it's so that I can tell if the cover is still on them or not. That was a trick I learned from another demonstrator. So everybody's got their own little tips and tricks. All right, there we go. So now we want to add this panel to this piece. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it so it matches with these, with the panel in front of it. And I'm going to put some adhesive right along there. And then I'm going to fold this over. Okay, so now when it's closed, the second panel, this one, is hidden by the first one. And I'm going to do the same with this. So it's a little bit shorter. It's not quite as wide, right? So I'm going to kind of put it so it's a little bit off that edge. Okay, but this one I can put it on all of it. Okay, look at it. Hopefully get that even, that's straight. Close this. Okay, so now we have that, and now when we close it, we can add some stars up here, and that is where we're going to put our embellishments. And this way they will be seen, they will not be on the front panel. Okay, and maybe I'll put another little one kind of down there. All right, and that is our second fun fold, our second card for tonight. So let me know what you think. Is this kind of a cool fun fold? And then again, you have a little bit of room to write you know, a little note to whoever is getting it. So these were our 2 cards for tonight. We had a really basic, easy, simple stamping cards. We really didn't use anything other than our stamps, inks, and paper. And then we have our fun fold where we kind of got a little crazy and made almost like a little portfolio with a different scene. So we have our sentiment on the front. We've got the shepherd looking at the star or following the star. And then we can write a note to our recipients. That's it for me. Thank you so much. Thank you, Carol. Thank you. Hi, Jean. You're watching from Atlanta, Canada. Woohoo, hello. And you have the suite on order. I hope you like it. And you have it on your wish list for September. Good for you, Carol. South Carolina. Hey, Claudette. So it's so good to see all of you here. Thank you all so much for watching. I love it when you're here. I love to see where you're coming in from. If you're catching this on the replay, please go ahead and leave a comment. And if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would love it if you would. I am 6 subscribers away from hitting 750, and my goal was to hit that by the end of August. So if you have any friends that you can recommend me to, I would be so grateful. That's it, everybody. Have a great evening. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.